Institute, so it kind of trips people out a little bit when I say this. And I tell them how important it is to get your education, yada, 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 because we're at a college, that's what I got to say. But then I turn right around and I tell them the truth, though. The most important thing in your life ain't your education. The most important thing in your life is your dream. See, the scripture says, a man without a dream or a vision shall perish. Don't say nothing about education. Now, you got to have one if you're going to climb to certain jobs and go into corporate ladder and be in banking and be in finance and all this stuff y'all doing. But it's the dream that propels you. Look, man, we got to break this thing down real simple for people someday. Quit acting bougie like you've been rich all your life. Yeah, that's what killed me. You know, I come to these functions, everybody sit up, they lean back in their chair, they speak proper grammar, they get their nose up. You act like you had money all your life. I ain't had money all my life. I come into some money, but I've been scrapping and hustling and grinding and trying to get over. And so have you. But then you get here and you don't have no memory of that. Because now your life is fixed. And so now when you talk to young people, you don't talk to them from the perspective of you made mistakes too. You don't talk to young people like, hey, been there, done that. I smoked weed in college too, man. I know where you at. You don't want to tell them that. Now, Clinton smoked weed. He the president of the United States. I'm going to probably say a lot of stuff. I already know that I'm not coming back next year. That's clear. I ain't got no problem. See, that's why I give my money wide to me. Because I already know I'm going to mess around and say something. I'm going to throw somebody into something. Because I see a couple of looks on y'all's face right now. But I don't really care. I'm out of here. I'm going to go get on this jet. I'm going to go down here. My wife down in Miami, man. I'm going to go sleep with my wife tonight. I don't care what y'all do. I was telling you about your gift. This is how you save yourself a lot of trouble. Now, this may apply to some adults in this room. Maybe not. Your gift is the thing that you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort. That's your God-given gift. You ain't got to trip on it, wonder about it. It's what you do better than anything else. Now, whether you've chosen to make that your life's work or not, that's your choice. But I got news for you. If you don't ever pursue that, you ain't gonna ever be happy. It's some unhappy people in this room today because there's some people in here doing what people expect them to do and doing what was required of them, and they just got locked into it. Now you got bills and a family and you don't really want to pursue your dream. So now you got the job and you just gonna ride it all the way out. There ain't nothing wrong with that. If your job is what you gifted at doing. This man is gonna retire this year, but he's been in the education of young people's minds. He's been shaping young people's minds for 30 years like that. That's what he was gifted to do. If you're sitting up in here and you ain't happy and you in misery, it's because you ain't pursued your gift. And I'm telling them young people over there with them blue shirts on and them striped ties, find out what your gift is and pursue it with everything in you. Because ain't nothing worse than getting a degree and you don't even want it after you get it. Because a degree ain't nothing but a piece of paper hanging on a wall. Now, it signifies that you have the ability to complete a task, but your life is made up of what you do with it. Life is 10% what happens. It's 90% of what you do about it. You got to do something with your life, man, that makes your heart beat in the morning when you wake up. See, people ask me all the time, how you do all these jobs, Steve? Because I like all my jobs. You cut your radio on 240 times a year. I do a 4-hour live radio show. How you do that every morning? Well, the main reason they got a nice check, but other than that, I wake up in the morning, I give people some inspiration, I play music, and I tell jokes. Okay, boom, I like doing that. Then I go to a talk show. I live in Chicago 8 months out the year, 34 weeks. I tape 180 talk shows in Chicago. How you do that every day? Because I love doing it. Then I go to Atlanta. I live in Atlanta, and in 9 weeks, I tape 200 episodes of Family Feud. Man, how you tape all them shows? Once again, they have a check attached to this. But I love what I do. If you cut your TV on, it's obvious that I love what I do. I'm always smiling because God has given me the life of my dreams because I'm living in the gift He gave me. If you live in your gift, man, it changes your life. Do something about your gift. Listen to me. I don't care what job you got now. If it's something that really burns on the inside of you, you ought to go do that. I don't care how old you are. How come you think Kentucky Fried Chicken? How come you think that man on the kitchen when he was 35? But he been frying chicken. He can't just make him start frying chicken. He been frying chicken with this secret recipe for years. It took him a long time before it clicked, but he kept frying chicken, man, till he became the biggest chicken joint in the world. You can't go nowhere and don't see Kentucky Fried Chicken. That ain't real chicken. But when he was living, it was real chicken, though. It really was chicken. Them was the actual parts. If you peel that skin off that Kentucky Fried Chicken, you're in for a surprise. It don't look nothing like. But he hit it. When is it too late to hit it? When is it really too late to hit the jackpot? When is it? When you're 60, that's too late. You don't want to be rich then? What, just 65, too late for you to be rich? When is it too late to hit it? Man, put some spark in your life. Have something to wake up about that make your heart beat in the morning. Have a joyous spirit when you wake up in the morning. Here's another principle of success. I'm going to tell you what rich people talk about all the time. You know what rich people talk about all the time? They talk about money all the time. All the principles of success is in the Bible. See, a man is as he thinks. So, what you think, excuse the grammar, but that's what you is. Don't it make better sense? Bad grammar makes better sense sometimes. If a man is as he thinketh, then what you think is what you is. That make real good sense to me. See, yeah, I like to keep it where people remember stuff I say. So rich people, you know what they do? They talk about money. Now, when you talk about money around people, they get tight because they don't want to hear the money. Well, money's not everything, and money can't buy you happiness. They ain't got no money. Money might not buy you happiness, but it park you right in front of Happy House. You can get out, ring doorbell, see if Happy home. There's nothing wrong with money. People, so many things have been said over the years. When rich people get together, they talk about money. They talk about business all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. See, we go to church and we learn the wrong thing. You know what messed me up, man? When I was little, I went to church in Cleveland, you know, and a preacher would always say, he says, hard for a rich man to get into the kingdom of heaven as it is for a camel to get through the eye of a needle. Now, me and the rest of the ignorant members, we thought that you was trying to take a needle with a sewing thread and push a camel through it. All the people in my church collectively decided they didn't want to be rich because they wanted to go to heaven. I was sitting there at 10-year-old. I wasn't really buying into this because I was trying to figure out how I was going to get this camel into this hole. Because I didn't know what they was talking about because I wanted to be rich. Because this poverty I was allergic to it. I itched all the time. I just came from being poor. You know, you just be digging in yourself sometimes. Because you're poor. Poverty is uncomfortable. First of the month comes, your whole butt tighten up. You just like somebody squeezing lemon juice down the crack of your behind. Because it's the first of the month. All this stuff is due. Shop. That's your butt. Shop. Just tighten it up. Because you ain't got the money. Why would I not want no money? I live in the hood. I want out. I need money to get out. But at my church, they said, it's as hard for a rich man to get into the kingdom of heaven as it is for a camel to get through the eye of a needle. So I bought into that. I was about almost 38. I was in Hollywood. I was driving down the street. I ran up into Donnie McClurkin. He was coming out of the studio on Sunset. I was in the truck smoking a cigar. I saw Donnie. I said, hey, man, what's happening? He said, hey, Steve, man. This was one of the first years I had hosted Celebration of Gospel. And I was going to quit hosting Celebration of Gospel because I didn't like the gospel community because they didn't like me. You know, backstage, they be saying stuff like, I don't know why he is hosting our gospel show. He ain't saved. I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm here for the check. Let's be clear about this. I've been in church my whole life, but, you know, I ain't living no perfect life, and I wasn't, but, you know, that was my life at the time. And I was going to quit, and I was telling Donnie I was thinking about quitting. He said, man, why you going to quit? I was telling him, man, I said, man, I'm just confused right now, man. I said, I don't get it. I said, man, start thinking about going back to church, man, but I want to go to heaven, but man, I'm finna start making this money down here, and it just don't jive with Christianity. He said, what you mean? And I told him what the preacher, that it's hard for a man to get through the kingdom of heaven as it is for a camel through the eye of a needle. So Donnie looked at me a little confused because, he a pastor. And I was just telling him, but I'm trying to find a way to get the camel in the needle. He said, Steve, that's not what it means. I said, what does it mean? He says, in the Middle East, a needle is an arc that is stuck in the sand that looks like a wishbone on a chicken. And they have them to entryways sometimes. And when a camel approaches the needle, in order for the camel to get through the needle, he has to kneel and crawl through the needle. And then the camel gets back up. He said, that's what God meant. I said, Donnie, you mean they ain't talking about a sewing needle? He said, fool, you can't put a camel through a sewing needle. After that, I said, I got to go make me some money. I just humble myself before God like I'm going through the needle, and he ought to let me in. But I'm going in with some money, though. I became friends with Oprah Winfrey because obvious reasons. We ain't going to keep saying that, but she's a very successful woman. She's a very kind person. Everybody get a bad rap on the internet. She thinks she did too. Well, a lot of people shoot at her. The thing about haters, man, haters kick you when they down, and they throw at you when you're up. And they just do it all damn day. They're just haters. You got them on your job. You got them at your church. You got them. They just hate it. They just haters. Haters because they ain't got nothing else to do. They want to be you. They can't. So here come the hate. And I don't mind haters, long as they throw, because I'm usually up. You can throw up at me. I don't address you. And I was talking to Oprah one time, and she said, I did a life class with her this past year. And she said, Steve, I never knew you had a vision board. She said, you believe in that? And this is the first time we had a serious conversation. I said, Oprah, how am I not going to believe in that? Every successful person I know has a vision board, or they have their goals written down. You can't do it without writing it down. When you write it down, it's a symbol of faith. See, I was telling this story earlier about writing it down. Teacher, we were in the 6th grade, and asked us to write on a piece of paper. We came in from summer, what you want to be when you grow up. So everybody filled out the paper. You had to put your name on it, had to write this one thing. In 1968. So I wrote, I want to be on TV. Because nobody had told me I couldn't. I was 10. My vision was wide open. So I wrote, I want to be on TV. She collected all the papers. She started going around the room, naming everybody's name, had everybody stand up. And she read what they wanted to be. Barbara wanted to be a nurse. Johnny wanted to be a basketball player. Robert wanted to own a gas station. Cindy wanted to be a doctor. She got to me, she waited last. Now, I had never gotten a gold star before. All of my years of school. And she asked me to stand. And when I stood, she said, little Stevie, come to the front of the class. Now I'm thinking to myself, this is it. This is the gold star moment. I've been waiting 10 years for this. I ain't never got a star before. This is the day. So I started walking to the front. I'm skinny. I got my brother's clothes on because we were poor. I got up there and she said, Steve, let me ask you something. What did you write on your paper? I said, I want to be on TV. She said, and why did you write that on your paper? I said, because that was our assignment for today. And then she said, what you write that on the paper for? Now I'm thinking to myself, judging by the tone of this conversation, call your mama. When you go home, I'm going to tell her you being a smart aleck in this class. Now you take this paper and you come back with something more believable on it. So she pinned a note on me and I had to go home. My mama was waiting on me because she called the house. So my mother said, what you doing up at that school being a smart aleck? I said, Mama, I just did what the teacher told me to. She read the note. She said, what you write this on your paper for? I said, because the lady asked me what I wanted to be. I want to be on TV. She said, I'm telling your daddy when you get home. Well, my father was the executioner. My mother was the warden, and he was the executioner. And I knew when he got home, I was going to get my ass whooped. So, excuse me, I'm sorry, that slipped out. I didn't mean to. Sorry about that. I was going to get my butt whipped. And so when my father came home, she told my father, look what Steve wrote on this paper. So he read the paper. He said, what's going on here? Said, Steve up at that school act like a smart ass. That teacher done asked him what he wanted to be, and he done put, I want to be on TV. My father read the paper. He said, what's wrong with that? I started thinking, a reprieve. So he said, boy, go in your room. I'll be in there in a minute. And I got my spankings in the room, so I went on in there getting ready. Him and my mother had an argument. My father came in the room. He said, boy, what you write this on your paper for? I said, because I want to be on TV. He said, what she wants you to write on the paper? I said, like a basketball player or a policeman. He said, put that on paper. Take it up to the school and give it to that dream-killing heifer. So I write it. He said, now take your paper. He said, before you go to bed tonight, now this is my father now with a third grade education. My father was a sharecropper in Alabama. He said, read your paper every night before you go to bed. And when you wake up in the morning, read your paper before you go to school. Read your paper every day and read your paper every night. I took my paper up to the school and I turned it in. It took me till I was 38 years old. But I got on TV. The devil don't care about you. The devil wants to keep you from your destiny. That's his one job. Satan got one job, to keep you from your destiny. The devil don't ever want you to be what God created you to be. So guess what? When you discover your gift and you think I'm about to make a move and go be what God created me to be, then here go the devil. You got this job over here, you're going to lose your 401k. Once you get your paper straight, you can skip all of this. You can get yourself started in the process, man, but you got to quit letting the devil keep you from your destiny by tying it to this little job you got, because he's tricky with it now. He got you thinking you're going to mess your credit up if you quit your job. What you mean mess your credit up? You overextended now. You got good credit, but you can't buy nothing else with it. If your card maxed out at $5,000 and you got $4,090 on it, where we at? Come on, y'all. You're going to have to make a choice, but you can't let the devil fool you. He tried to keep you from being who God made you to be. Look, man, I don't know if I'm getting through to you, but I want you to hear me. I do, man. Look, I wish everybody before they die could experience what it feels like to wake up and do what you was born to do. It's so cool, man. It's so cool. If you've been dreaming of opening that business, you should start the process. Don't try to figure out how to make the business make $1 million. Just start the process. See, if you make one step, he'll make two, but he can't make his two unless you make your one. So you got to start. Fill out the application. Go get the patent. Send in the paperwork. Get your federal ID number. Do something, man. Start creating a website. Let your job sponsor your dreams. Take some of your check money. Quit playing one of them punk bills. Take that money and start your website. What is you talking about now? If you owe Kmart some money and Sears, what is you paying them for? They finna be out of business. Take whatever money you owe Kmart and Sears, take that money, buy your business cards. Take one of your bills one time, instead of paying it, start your website. But start. If you make one step, he'll make two. And don't worry about where you're going with it. Just get started. He'll show you the way to go, because he wants you to get to your destiny. But he got to make sure that you want to get to your destiny first. If you tell him you want to get to your destiny, that God you serve, he going to show you how to do it. You can believe that. Don't forget to pray. Don't be ashamed to pray. And don't ever be too proud to pray, because prayer changes things. Stay right here on Faith Street, y'all. The box you asked for is coming. Everything on my vision board I get. I built on my house one time. My wife wanted a special kind of car. And I built the garage, the extra garage on the house. She came out there and saw them. She said, Steve, what are you doing? I said, I'm building an extra garage. She said, Steve, we got enough cars. What do you need with another garage? I said, don't worry about it. 2 years went by. I had been looking for this car. I went to dealerships. They said, sir, there are none in that color. I said, she want a white one. I said, so I went to the dealership. I said, I want you to get this car in for my wife. She said, sir, there are none in the country and none being made. I said, okay, well, when the car come in, could you accept it into your dealership and call me when it get here? He said, sir, I done told you, I can pull it up on the computer. There are no cars in that color, that make or model. Do you want another color? I said, no, my wife wants white. She said, sir, we don't have that. I said, I've already built the garage. I've already built the garage. All my garages have chandeliers in them. I don't have doors that go over. All my cars have chandeliers hanging over. And I have marble floors in my garage because I like stuff like that because I saw it one time. So I said, I've already built the garage. He said, sir, there are no cars like that anywhere in a computer base. I said, I just need for you when the car comes in. So a year went by. I said, any word on the car? He said, no, I've called the factory. They're not even making anymore in that color. I said, okay, I'm looking for this color right here. He said, sir, we don't have it. I said, I'm going to give it to her for her birthday, October 10th, 2016. He said, sir, that's impossible. I said, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's just a car that I'm asking for in a particular color. How that's impossible? He said, sir, I can't find the car. I ain't asked you to. I asked you when it come through, would you accept it into your dealership and call me? That's all I asked you for. 2 weeks before my wife's birthday, I got a phone call. It was Perillo from Gold Coast in Chicago. He said, Steve Harvey. He said, are you sitting down? I said, no, I'm standing up. What's happening? He said, you're not going to believe this. A guy bought a car a year ago. It's been sitting in his garage. It has 8 miles on it. He bought it to me to turn in to me and ask him, how much would I give him for? I said, what is it? He said, it's the white car you've been looking for. I said, I'll be up there to get it. He said, this is unbelievable. I said, that God I serve, he's an unbelievable God. I don't listen to what nobody tell me. Once I write it down, I write the vision and make it plain, it will come. Surely it will come at an appointed time. It doesn't matter that nobody sees it. It doesn't matter that it's visible to other people. All you got to do is write it down and believe it. God is greatness, man, all day long. What he's done for me, he'll do the same thing for you. But you got to write the vision. Go home and read Habakkuk 2:2. Go home and read Bible verse Habakkuk 2:2. Read what it say. If you do that, you'll change your life. Appreciate it. I was 26 years old, man. I was struggling. I didn't have nothing. And these people owned the furniture store in Cleveland. And they took me in and gave me my first contract with my little carpet cleaning company. When I became a comedian at 27, I didn't have money to travel. They gave me an account at their travel agency. And man, I ran up a bill like $11,000 just trying to travel and make it. Them people right there, you know, man, they helped me out. I used to spend the night in hotel parking lots. What was I gonna do? I ain't had nowhere to stay, so I lived in the car. I had $35. And I said, come on, God, man, I've been trying to make this dream come true. You done left me out here like this. And I was crying so hard that he just said, I didn't like hear a voice or nothing, but he spoke to me in Harvey. He said, if you get up, I'm gonna take you places you ain't never been. Now I was finna quit. So I said, skip it. I'm gonna quit anyway. So I got in my car, I went to a payphone, and I was gonna call my dad. You remember back in the day where you could punch in a code and call your answering machine and get your messages? So I called and I punched in the code and it said, doop. He said, hey, Steve, this is Chuck Sutton.